Hi folks, how's it going? Today we're gonna play in the dirt. Okay, so a few years ago, I did actually live in a house where we had a backyard garden, and it wasn't very large, but we grew some of our own fruits and vegetables. We had a really fairly large raspberry patch, which was amazing because I would harvest so many raspberries. I would take buckets of them up and down the street and trade with my neighbors for whatever surplus they had. But now that I live in an apartment, I have a very small space balcony to work with, and I still like to grow my own vegetables. So last year with the pandemic, at the earlier part of the year, I was not able to get any seeds. So I started a little bit late last year. I didn't get a whole lot of stuff done. So I like to grow different varieties of leafy greens because I like to eat salads a lot. So I'm going to put in some, I've got spinach, and these are all organic seeds that I've got, and these are leftovers from last year, so hopefully they'll come up. I've got some organic spinach, some organic lettuce salad bowl, so I think it's got 3 different colors of lettuce in here, so I never know what's going to come up. And some organic kale. And the kale did really well last year. It just kept going and going and going. So hopefully these will come up and I will be able to get a few salads out of my harvest. So that's what I'm going to put in this pot here. And break up the soil a little bit. You can see it's really dry because it's just puffing up. I've had it in the house warming up for a couple of days. So I'm just going to break this up. I love playing in the dirt. It's so good for you to play in the dirt, even if it's just a pot of dirt inside your house. So I'm going to put in some lettuce. So I should be able to get quite a few in here. They're just very, very small seeds. So I'm just going to grab a few in my hand. I also have to make sure to keep them spaced well enough that I can fit in the kale and the spinach as well. So I'll put the lettuce, I don't know, I guess in the middle. How about any of you, do you have a kitchen garden, or do you grow vegetables or fruits or even flowers in your garden? I'm also going to plant some Shasta daisy seeds that I have. Shasta daisies were my mom's favorite flower, so I like to have those around just to remember her. Not that I could forget her, but you know what I mean. My favorite flowers are orchids, and I've got one behind you there that's about to bloom. It should be flowered. The buds should be open within a couple of days, I think. So here's the kale, and then so I noticed last year the plants that I was putting in, they don't get very big like they would if they were in the ground, but growing vegetables in a pot is still, it still works really well. They just don't get quite as big, I think, and possibly because I'm on the 4th floor, when the wind is up here, it is very, very strong, so I think it kind of really buffets the plants around, so they tend to stay a little bit dwarfed so that they're closer to the soil and not going to blow away, I guess. Like I said, kale last year did really, really well. I had it going the whole year, or the whole season anyway. The lettuce tends to be, doesn't like it when it gets really, really hot, and we had a hot summer last year. Where'd my kale go? There's my spinach. I've lost my spinach. Okay, here it is. And a lot of leafy green vegetables that you can grow in pots or in the ground, you don't, when you harvest, you can just cut the leaves and the plant will continue to grow. So if you cut the whole thing or pull it from the root, of course, it's gone. But if you just cut the leaves, even on lettuce, just cut the top leaves off and it'll start to grow back. So it just keeps going and going for the whole season, or until you forget to water it, which happens too. So that's these. I'll just give them some water. Just soak this as much as I can. Okay, so there's that. And I'm gonna grab another pot and some different seeds, and I'll come back in just a second. Okay, pot number 2. I'm gonna do some, I think carrots might do okay in this pot. It'll be narrow at the bottom, but if I space them properly toward the top, it should be okay. If not, I'll just get funny looking carrots, which I don't mind. I did carrots in a pot, just it was more even last year, and I was able to have carrots that I grew myself at I ate them at Thanksgiving. And this bag of dirt is all clumpy. I don't know if I'm just gonna have to get my hands dirty. Yeah. I have a strawberry plant that I planted last year that I'm hoping will come back again this year. I got 3 strawberries off it last year. 3 strawberries! Which I think is kind of usual or normal for new fruiting plants. You don't tend to get a whole lot, if any, fruit the first year. I think I put this plastic down, huh? It's everywhere. Oh no. Oh well. Gives me an excuse to vacuum, I guess. Yes, I need an excuse to vacuum. I don't like vacuuming. Okay, so I'm trying to break up these clumps. For root vegetables like carrots and beets and potatoes and stuff like that, you want the soil to be loose because otherwise they can't grow properly. And especially for carrots, because you want them to be able to grow down to get longer carrots. If the soil is too packed, then you tend to get short, stubby carrots or carrots that are just really weird shapes. So I'm just going to break up some of these clumps more. So I think that's good now. Maybe just one more handful. Okay. So carrots, I bought the rainbow carrots. So there's orange and yellow and purple. If you plant root vegetables too close together, or if they're growing too close together, then they tend to crash in together and intermingle. So then you get some really weird shaped vegetables, which, I mean, is fine with me. So I'm just going to put in, I'll try and space these out properly in a circle around the pot with a couple in the middle. And then if they come up and they're too close together, then when they're first sprouting, you can see like the little green leaves that come up. If they're too close together, you can tell, then you can just pick out, like every other plant or something, so that they don't crash into each other. Or just leave them all in there and hope for the best, which is, you know, sometimes what I do. And these seed packets, like this, because these are organic, these ones cost $3.29. But this will give me, I mean, this pot will, you know, maybe give me a dozen carrots or something, which typically costs about $3.29. But then I've got enough seeds for the next few years as well. So one of these seed packets, the seeds should be viable for about 3 years. So, I mean, these are still good for a little while. So just give this some water. In the summertime, because it does get so hot here in Toronto, believe it or not, and because I'm up on the 4th floor and it gets very windy, so it gets very dry up here, I have to water my, my outdoor plants pretty much every day. So I have a big bucket and a cup that I go out with to water them. Okay, so I'm going to move this one out the way and bring in the next pot. Next one, I think I'm going to put the beets in here. You know what, the carrots might have been better in here because it's deeper, but I don't know, I don't really care. So I'm going to put the beets in this one and hopefully won't dump soil all over the place again. So nice to play in the dirt. When I was a kid, I grew up in kind of a rural area, so we had a yard. It wasn't a huge yard, but there was a farm right behind us, so there was a lot of wide open spaces. Plus there was the lake just over the hill that we were always playing in. So we were always outside getting dirty and muddy and everything. And I remember making mud pies, and my pie tin was always a Frisbee, and we would make mud pies and cakes and all kinds of stuff, and we would decorate them with, you know, like stones and sticks and all kinds of neat stuff. Yeah, it was fun. If I get like, I don't know, 3 beets out of this or 4 beets, that'll be fine, because it's something that I grew myself, that I did. And I think it will be pretty amazing. Okay, so where's my beets? Here's my beets. Detroit Dark Red. It's always very exciting when you start to see the little green things coming up out of the soil. I can probably fit like 8 or 10 beets in here, I think. We'll see. And I don't have to wait until they're monster beets. I can harvest them when they're little, right? I know there's probably gardeners everywhere who are watching this right now and they're cringing because I'm just kind of cavalier when it comes to putting in the seeds, and you know, how many should be in there, and do I put too many? Do I put them too close together? Oh well, we just wait to see what happens, right? Yeah. This one is where the daisies are. So you can see some of the stalks left from last year's daisies. I just left the plant in there. And I'm not sure, but the ones that were in here from last year, they, I think, should come back. They're perennials. I just don't know how well they do in a pot. I mean, they're usually growing on the side of the road. These ones in particular, my sister did actually just dig them up from the side of a road, and then she had them in her garden, so she was thinning them out from her garden last year, and she brought me these ones. So we'll see if they come back again this year, but I wanted to kind of fill this pot and make it have a little bit more flowers in there. So there's a little bug. I just disturbed a spider over there as well when I was moving plant pots around. Okay, so I think I should be able to put quite a few seeds in here, and then I can thin them out if I need to once they start to grow. When my mom was alive and we did the gardening together, whether here on the balcony or at the house where we had the backyard garden, she said that she would do the pretty and I could do the practical. So I had the vegetable and fruit garden to take care of, and she was supposed to take care of the flowers, which didn't always work out that way. I ended up doing a lot of the work, even for the pretty. Yeah. But it was nice. What's with these bugs? Bugs everywhere. I just squish them. I don't know if this has drainage at the bottom, if this is going to hold on at the bottom. Wouldn't that be funny? What's next? I don't know. Okay, last one, I think. I'm going to put the radishes in here. Last year in this pot I had some Brussels sprouts, and I've not been able to find seeds for Brussels sprouts. So I'm just going to put the radishes in here, and if I happen to find any plants or sprout seeds before it's too late, then I'll just buy another pot and I will put some of those in, because I really, really like Brussels sprouts too. So I'm just going to kind of spruce up the soil a little bit with some of this new stuff, so it'll have some more fertilizer and nutrients in it. Okay, so let's water the radishes. I like radishes. I put them in salads all the time, and they're good. They're good liver cleansers. Did you know that? And I think I am done for planting the seeds that I have right now anyway. If I see anything else, like if I find some Brussels sprouts, I will definitely plant some Brussels sprouts, and if I see some more flowers that I like, I'll put them out on the balcony as well, because I've got a little bit more room. So, what do you think of my Pandemic Potager, or Pandemic Kitchen Garden? It does pretty well on the balcony when I remember to water it. That's the key part. You have to remember to water it, especially in pots, because pots dry out faster than if they were in the ground. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and give me a thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know, do you have your own little pandemic potager? Have you taken up gardening since the pandemic, or have you always been gardening? Is it something that interests you and you just never know quite what to do with it? Let's have a chat below. Thanks. See you later.